Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Reset. And as you see, as we posted earlier, today we will be dealing with uh, metabolic health and heart health to be specific. What does that mean? All right, so we're going to dive in tonight into a few parts of metabolic health. So, welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Reset. And we're going to talk about why the heart matters, especially when going through menopause, and why it's important to focus on this. Now, if you stay to the end of this video, I have a wonderful offer for you all. And I'd love to share it with you about what we have coming up in the White Rose community. As you know, the White Rose community is we are the community that's promoting the Healthy Reset that the Healthy Reset is for. And this is just a way for us to create that public health message to help women to navigate different aspects of menopause. I am Dr. Z, and I'm a co-founder of the White Rose community. But the true brainchild of this is Nurse Maria, who couldn't make it tonight because she's not doing so hot this evening. So she sends her apologies, and she will definitely be on next week. So I'll be leading off tonight. So let's start off. Why the heart matters. Now, tonight we're going to look at heart and metabolic health, and we're going to understand what those are. Heart health, we're talking about your heart, obviously, but metabolic health, we're talking about the entire body and why these two go hand in hand. Now, imagine waking up every day with energy, feeling strong, healthy, and ready to take on whatever life throws your way. So, I'm also often asked, why am I a part of this menopause movement? What do I contribute to this? And let me give you a little story. I grew up in a home with four women, four sisters, and my mom. Right? Now imagine, and I was the only boy. I was smack dab in the middle of these four girls and my mom. And the only other guy in my family is my dad. Right? So a little interesting story. Um, once a month, well, it used to happen more than once a month, but once a month, my dad used to wake me up at 5 in the morning and we would jump in the car and drive into the country area in Guyana, a place called Mahaica. My dad was sold insurance and he had clients up there. I never found this to be strange. I thought it was a perfectly normal thing. It got me a chance to spend a lot of time with my dad. And this drive was approximately 2 hours long. Now, this is coming from Guyana in South America. But it's not until I went to university that I realized what my dad was up to, right? Once a month, my entire family of sisters and mom would go into having their menses or period. And as you all know, when women are, whether in the workplace, in a home, or anything like that, their periods tend to synchronize. But my father would try to escape all of the overwhelm that he felt by picking me up and taking me into the countryside. Now this is a funny state. Now this takes me full circle to what I'm doing today. Now, as a sports and exercise medicine doctor, I've worked with athletes a very long time, and I've been using the techniques that athletes use to improve health especially in women. And since I started my program of helping women, of helping the staff in my hospital to lose weight, I realized many of the staff that's coming in are women. And one of my primary clients was Nurse Maria. So that's how I got into this space. She thought that we should combine my weight loss program with her expertise in women's health because of the results she got from working in my program. Now, we'll get into a little bit later about what she gained from the program, but let's dive in first to a little bit of what is the connection between heart metabolism and weight loss. So our heart beats over 100,000 times uh, a day, tirelessly pumping life through our veins. But are we doing enough to protect it? So what does that mean? It means that your blood pressure, your cholesterol, the amount of carbohydrates you eat, or primarily your caloric intake, is affecting the hard work your heart is doing. And the heart is an interesting organ. It's the only muscle in the body that's not attached to any bones and therefore beats on its own. What does this mean? If you develop a heart attack and a little bit of the heart muscle dies, that puts the heart in a very bad position. Because it is totally dependent on its own muscle, that little bit of that muscle leads to the heart eventually failing, right? And to the progression of more heart attacks. So you want to really prevent any of that from happening, right? So high blood pressure and too much carbs in your diet causes plaque formation and it causes too much pressure on the heart. So those are things we need to take control of. And these are linked to the changes that occur with the decreasing of estrogen and progesterone in during the period of menopause. So getting on track with those, even before and during the menopause change, is very important to maintaining your heart health. Now, metabolic health is metabolism is often misunderstood. It's not just about burning calories, but about how our bodies use energy, how we feel, and even how we age. And these are super important things, right? So metabolism affects so many things. And we know that poor metabolism can lead to increased aging. We know it can lead to heart problems. It can lead to development of some non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, and some forms of cancer. And all of that comes from too burning of having too many calories in our diet. And in today's day and age, that is easily done. There was a time where, as humans, we were accustomed to having famine. What does a famine mean? It's a fasting, right? Where at times there wasn't enough food available. And that led our bodies to do something interesting. It's led us to learn how to store energy when there is abundance of food. The problem that is down into our systems. We are now so accustomed to doing that nowadays where we have access to food just about every turn. Think about it. Every time you walk out in the street, there is some vendor, there is some corner shop, there is somewhere you can stop and grab something to eat. That abundance of food, which didn't exist in the past, means that if we are constantly eating during the day and eating more than we actually need or more than we actually burn, we are doing ourselves a disservice by adding too many calories to diet. And this has led to the obesity pandemic that we are seeing today. In Trinidad and Tobago, this pandemic is so rampant that 2 in 5 Trinidadians, or 2 in 5 people, not Trinidadians, 2 in 5 of the people in the country are obese, and more than 3 to 3.5 persons are overweight. And that's a huge problem. So that's why we need to start protecting heart health. Now, your metabolism slows during the menopause change simply because of the decrease of the estrogen and progesterone. This can lead to stress, right? So that's why we need to improve our heart health and our metabolism by doing the right things right now, which includes decreasing our caloric intake to match what our expenditure is or how much calories we burn during the day. And that happens by having less calories burned or taking in less calories so you have a caloric deficit. In other words, you're burning more calories than you're putting on. And trust me, it's okay because you have enough fat stores in your body that you have extra energy that you can use up, right? Now, so the impact of menopause. For many women, menopause brings a new set of challenges. Weight gain, slower metabolism, increased risk of heart issues, but it doesn't have to be this way. These physiological changes that occurs because of the drop in estrogen and progesterone. And if you remember, menopause starts between the ages of 40 and usually goes until 55 but can go but a good postmenopause can occur well into the 60s. And the menopause can begin as early as in your 30s. So recognizing the symptoms of menopause, which can mimic many of the symptoms of having your menses and other diseases such as hyperthyroidism, high cholesterol, high cortisol levels, can anemia, all of those things can be mimicked by menopause symptoms. So knowing whether you're perimenopausal, which means you're in the change of menopause, is highly important. Now remember, you have to have at least 12 months or 12 months of consecutive no periods. In other words, no menses for you to be postmenopausal, right? So, but tonight, that is a little bit on the education of menopause. But tonight, we're not going to focus entirely on education. Every week, we try to do a little bit more on education to keep women aware of and their partners of what they need to know about menopause. So, we're going to look at three aspects of how to lose weight, take care of your heart, and improve your metabolism. And three methods you use, and that's easy to implement. And guess what? Much of it is very inexpensive. So the first one is exercise, the power of exercise, right? Think of your heart like any engine. The more you run it, the stronger it gets. But let's go further than that. Think of your muscles like any engine. And this is one of the things we want to do. We want to increase a little bit of muscle mass or muscle efficiency. You don't have to become a bodybuilder to have or get bigger muscles to burn energy. The muscles that you have are perfectly good enough. Now, why do I say that? If you improve muscle efficiency by having more, by building a little bit more on your muscles and be getting those muscles into a state of constantly exercising, that leads to what is called passive burn. So think of a car engine, right? If you stop a car and you're parked somewhere, is it still burning gasoline? Yes. Why? It's idling, it's not going anywhere, but the engine is on, it's still running. So your muscles and your heart are your idling engine. If you are exercising and you're exercising regularly, if you are building a little bit of muscle mass by doing a little bit of strength training, right? Then you are making your muscles more efficient. So when you're sitting on the couch, when you're sleeping at night, when you're sitting at your desk at work, when you're doing sedentary behaviors, your muscles are still burning energy, which means that you are constantly idling the engine and getting rid of excess calories, right? So just muscle isn't just for bodybuilders. It's your secret weapon to a healthy metabolism, right? So another thing you want to do with exercise is flexibility and balance. We live in a society where everybody sits in chairs, we sit in toilets, we have the beds are off the ground. All of these things contribute to less flexibility in places like your hips, your knees, your ankles, and even your shoulders and so on. When they looked at the blue zones, like the Japanese blue zones, right, what they found out was these men and women who were living well past the age of 90 were doing 50 to 70 squats a day. Why? In the Japanese culture, it is common for people to sleep on the floor. It is common to the toilets to be on the ground, and they sit on the floor on the floor at low-lying tables. So they're constantly squatting, sitting down, and then getting right back up. And they do this 50 to 70 times a day. That's why, and that develops very good flexibility in them, right? So that is something that in our modern society, we have to consciously implement into our daily routine. Otherwise, it's something we can neglect, very much so. For instance, I had a plumber come over to my house the other day, and he had a worker with him, and I had a leak. One of the pipes in my house had burst, and me, unfortunately, I tried to fix it and made it worse. So I had to call the plumber over. The plumber came over, and his coworker was squatting on the ground, butt on heels, complete squat on the ground and sitting there as calmly as ever. He said that is his most comfortable position to sit. To sit. Now, I ask everybody here, can you do that and hold that position for more than a minute? If you can't, then that is it's showing that the flexibility in your hips, your ankles, and your knees is not very good. That is something you should be able to do naturally at any age. I could say this about myself because up to a year ago, I wasn't able to hold that position. I consider myself to be fairly fit and healthy. And yet I couldn't hold that squat position. That bothered me so much that I started doing yoga and I started focusing on increasing flexibility in my hips, right? So flexibility is absolutely important. Now, we talk about flexibility, we talked about strength training, we talked about why exercise is important. But what is exercise then? Let's talk about that. Exercise is recommended 150 minutes per week of exercise, and that is moderate to high intensity activity. Let's define the exercise itself. It's separate into three sections. There's low intensity, which is your average walking around during the day, walking in the kitchen, walking in your house, light walking upstairs. Those are all considered low intensity activities. Moderate intensity activities is when you can go for a run, you can go for a ride, you can run upstairs, skipping, right? And you can be able to exercise while talking to somebody. Easy to understand. High intensity is things like hip training, high intensity training, uh, jogging up the stairs really quickly, swimming at a higher pace, skipping at a higher pace. If you can't talk while doing these activities, that would be considered high intensity. Now, I mentioned 150 minutes a week. How do you get 150 minutes a week of exercising? So here's an excellent and easy way to do this. So I want you to think about this. So, quick question, everybody here. Anybody exercises every day? Hands up. Give me a virtual hands up if you do. So I'm gonna put my virtual hands up because I do. I do exercise just about every day, or at least 5 days a week. How do I do this? With my busy schedule, and I have two little girls, one is 4, one is 7, who are very active and always want your attention, in addition to having a job and trying to build this community. So lots of things happening. How do I implement exercise? And this is very important to me. I put exercise or taking care of my health as one of my number one priorities. So how do I do it? Here's a simple way to do it. If you were to do 10 minutes of exercise a morning, once a day, 10 minutes, right? At the end of the week, if you do 5 days of exercise, you've exercised 50 minutes for the week. Now, if you were to do 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening, you're now up to 100 minutes of exercise in this. And this is moderate exercise. This is something like getting on a bicycle and riding, going for a short jog, doing 10 minutes of yoga or calisthenics or any form of stretching, right? Those are all moderate activity exercises. If you do 10 minutes of that twice a day, what are we up to? 100 minutes a week. So easy to implement. And here's the thing. Don't start by trying to do all 10 minutes if you haven't exercised in quite some time. If you're custom exercising, then great, keep doing it. But if you're now starting out, start off with 1 minute of exercise and keep adding a minute every time you do it until you hit the 10 minutes, and then add on the second half of the day with an extra 10 minutes. I can guarantee you within a month, you'll be doing 20 minutes of exercise and wondering why you haven't done this before, right? So 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening. It can be anything. Dancing, going for a brisk walk, riding, doing a few minutes of stretching or yoga. Simple as that. 10 minutes twice a day. Now, we want to improve, we want to add a little bit of strength training and flexibility training. So if you're doing some yoga, add it to this, mix it up a little bit. But you want to get a little bit more high intensity exercises in there. How do you do that? Now you're already up to 100 minutes a week. It's 150 minutes. Take 2 days in a week and do 20 minutes of exercise that is high intensity and start us, as I said before, start off small. You can start with one push-up and work your way up to 10 and keep going. Go for a brisk jog for a minute and then stop and then continue later on. Or keep doing that every day with extra minute until you get 20 minutes twice a week. Now you're doing 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and twice in a week you're doing 20 minutes of exercise. What are we up to? 140 minutes of exercise. As easy as that. So do we have any questions as yet? Anybody have any comments about exercising or questions about exercising that they'd like to know? Give me a virtual hands up if you are, or just unmute yourself and tell me what you think. If not, let's continue diving in of what else we can do to improve heart health and metabolic health. Now, so what we eat is either feeding diseases or fighting it. The choice is ours. As Steve Jobs puts it, eat your food as it's medicine, or your food will be medicine, right? So what is he saying? If we don't treat our meals as if it is the way we can avoid diseases, then later on we'll be eating lots of tablets in order to treat those diseases that came on. Now, just about every disease in the world can be avoided by the proper nutrition. And what does that mean? You want to eat healthy foods, healthy fruits and vegetables, and you can eat as many of them as you want. Nuts, legumes, all those things are healthy fats, healthy proteins. What you want to do is eat all these healthy things in order to improve your health routine, right? So we also want to talk about, you want to just, for eating healthy, just heart healthy, you also want to eat to develop healthy nutritional habits. And many of us don't know that we have habits that we do every day that is actually contributing to our low energy, to our brain fog, to the metabolic disorders like diabetes and hypertension, to potential of increasing potential of heart attacks or strokes because of these habits we do every day. And because they're habits, we don't know we're actually doing them, right? Consider brushing your teeth. How often do you think about brushing your teeth besides when you wake up in the morning or ready to go to bed at night? You don't. Why? Because it's a habit, and it's a wonderful, healthy habit. If you didn't know, in the 1920s, barely 2% of the world brushed their teeth. Nowadays, more than 90% of the world brush their teeth. And it's a beautiful, healthy habit, right? So, brushing your teeth, though, the only time you notice you didn't brush your teeth is if you skip brushing your teeth and then you're getting bothered that you need to get it done. So that's what habits are. Habits take 66 days to a year to change, right? What does that mean? Yes, you can start working on a habit, and in 28 days, you can start to see the change happening. For it to become a new habit, it takes about 66 days or a year to change. Now, how do I know this? Where I work in the hospital, I started parking further away from the office is, so I can get more steps in my day. I did not notice that I was doing this, that it became a habit until one day when I drove into the hospital, completely distracted by something I was thinking about. I went and parked in the spot I usually park every day, and I walked off, and then I realized, wow, I didn't even think about where I parked. And that's what a habit is. It took me almost a year. And now I actually have to force myself to park somewhere else otherwise I will go park in my regular spot. So that's what a habit is. So for nutrition, you want to improve increase your fruits and vegetables. You want to eat more whole foods, less highly processed foods, and then you also want to work on habits that might be contributing to the way you're feeling. And nutrition makes you feel every way you do, right? So as our bodies change, so should our approach to nutrition. Menopause isn't the end, isn't an end. It's an opportunity to recalibrate. And as your metabolism slows down during menopause, as your body is shifting, the requirement of bone health, which is the calcium deposits and improved magnesium and so on, you realize you need to eat at a different pace and a different way from the way you ate before, right? Right. So now, how do I know this works? Right? What evidence do I have that this works at all? Let me introduce you to our wonderful co-founder, Nurse Maria. Maria started working, and I'm sure some of you heard this story before, but she started working with us, with me, last year. I think it was around March, February, March, right? She joined the weight loss program I was administering to staff, and she jumped on board saying, I need to lose some weight. I'm really struggling. Now, at the time, I didn't even know Maria was going through menopause. Besides her being in the course and having these 1 hour conversations once a week, where I gave her a certain amount of things she needed to do during the week, that was the only conversations we had, right? But Maria religiously started doing the stuff I was telling her, and slowly over the time, first we started off working for the first few weeks, and over time Maria started to see a change. That's why Maria came to me at the end of last year and says, let's join forces. I love what I've achieved in the last year, and I want to see other women going through menopause, going through this. And that's the first time I found that Maria was going through menopause. Here's Maria's story. Maria lost 43 pounds in 6 months, an astonishing amount of weight loss, right? But that's not all that happened. Maria was having severe symptoms of anemia, which was causing her to faint even when she was at work, and often she felt embarrassed about it. She was struggling to concentrate. She was struggling to stay awake, and everything in her life seemed to be falling apart because of the nutrition changes we did. And that's all we did. We did nutrition and we implemented exercise. We started off with a simple method of implementing good changes in nutrition and exercise. That led to Maria not just losing 40 pounds, but stopping fainting at work, and her anemia improved. She saw a change in her brain health where she was able to concentrate. She started exercising more, and it led to improvements in her own relationship with her husband. She started seeing amazing changes in her life, and those amazing changes led to her to say, let's join forces and the creation of the White Rose community. That transformation with Maria has been amazing. And she was not the only one who went through this transformation. Other women, as I learned from later on, started having those same transformations, and they were going through menopause and saw a shift in the way they felt during the menopause change, where they weren't suffering as badly. They saw a decrease in their diabetic symptoms. In other words, some of the women actually stopped taking medication for their diabetes because it was under excellent control with just changing their nutrition and diet. What does it lead to? A beneficial factor was that all of them started saving money. Why? Because of eating healthier, they were eating less, they were eating healthier meals, which made them feel full for longer, which led to savings at the end of the month. And I actually sat and calculated it in Trinidad and Tobago dollars. And they were saving between $1,200 and $1,500 every month because of a shift in just nutrition, right? So all of this has far-reaching benefits. And this transformation that I saw in Maria, and this is one of the reasons she's been saying we need to introduce this to our community. We need to get all of our women who are going through menopause on your program because it's going to be absolutely beneficial to their menopause change. So any questions so far before we continue? Put a hands up or just unmute yourself and let me know if you have any questions about nutrition, exercise, and why it's important to change either one. So if there are no questions at this point, I want to make a meditation. So I said, If you wait until, stay on with us until the end of this session, I have an amazing, amazing announcement to make. And you have really won the jackpot in this. Now, I want you to invite you to take the next step in your own transformation. Now, whether you're in menopause, you're post-menopausal, and you're still trying to figure out what is correct, the correct thing to do, and if you're putting on weight and you don't know how to stop it, or you're frustrated because you've gone through so many weight loss programs and it has had very little and you've seen little change. In fact, you actually put on more weight after you stop it, then this is the program for you. So I want to introduce you to our menopause weight loss formula. This program is starting on September the 7th. I haven't decided on the times yet, but we will announce that later on. But at this point, I want to invite you to come join us on the menopause weight loss formula. This program is going to be run in two formats. It's going to be a hybrid format. What does that mean? It's going to be both live at our clinic and it's going to be run on Zoom at the same time. So if you can sign in via Zoom or you can come to the clinic and join us. And this program will be my expert guidance on how you can shift your nutrition to effectively achieve weight loss and sustain this for the rest of your life. This is a sustainable program that I've seen work on numerous people in the last 4 years that have not gone back. In fact, I have clients who come into me right in my hospital saying, hey, I'm still doing it. And every time I feel like I'm falling off, I just think about something and I go back to doing what I was doing before. I'm still seeing results on to today. So this isn't just another weight loss program. It's a comprehensive approach designed to support you through every step of your journey, whether you're just starting out or looking to maintain your current success with weight loss. So this program offers you a personalized approach to your weight loss journey. It gives you expert guidance in what exactly you need to do and simple ways to implement that you can do in your life every day. This program is built in such a way that whatever I show you, you will be able to implement into your daily life because we all have different lives and we all can't do the same thing. Like, I don't expect you to be like me up at 5 in the morning doing yoga, journaling, and planning your day out to have a high energy day. That might not be what you do. Maybe you're a night owl. You like to work out at night. You like to do most of your stuff at night. That's it's made to implement like that. Maybe you're a late riser. Maybe you don't have time in the morning to do this, but you have time at other times in the day to implement it. So what I show you is how do you implement that 10 minutes exercise and 10 minutes exercise in the morning and evening in a simple way that allows you to achieve the 150 minutes of exercise or close to it every week without fail, right? I will show you how you can change your nutritional habits in a way that you go from being rebellious and thinking I need to have a cheat day to going, I don't need a cheat day, but I love having a reward. I will show you how you can eat every day pretty much anything you want once it's not highly processed foods and still enjoy, have your cake and enjoy it, right? Because there's nothing wrong with having a slice of cake. Just don't eat the cake every day and don't eat the whole cake all at once. That's the difference, right? Because if you are doing the work for 80% of the time, you get to have a 20% break where you can enjoy your life while living a healthy lifestyle. Look at me. Everybody thinks I eat a massively healthy diet. I don't. Today I had ice cream with my daughters. I enjoy the ice cream with my daughters, but is it something I will do every day? I can, but I won't. Why? Because I don't feel like having ice cream every day, right? If I eat something that I know is unhealthy, like the other day I got a VAPS and I decide, oh, let me go have some potato chips, the highly processed ones. After eating just a few chips, I felt I couldn't eat anymore. It just felt like I was bloating. It felt my belly was feeling kind of weird and full. and I couldn't eat it anymore. I put it away. Why? Because recognizing my natural cues of protection in my body helps me to not choose unhealthy things. And I love having curry. I love going out for some doubles. I love a good roti anytime, right? And yet I maintain a very healthy lifestyle because of the way I've structured my nutritional intake. So it's a very, very personalized approach. You also get access to the community where you get community support and you can share in the process. I call it support, encouragement, and accountability, SEA, like how we have exams in Trinidad, right? SEA, because we always need a good support system. We always need to be encouraged. And if we are kept accountable to each other, guess what? We achieve great things together, right? You get holistic health improvement and long-term results. When you lose the weight, it is not weight you're going to put back on unless you're really trying to, right? You can continue to keep it off because you're doing the right thing. You can adjust it and you know how to adjust it throughout life. So, so imagine how you'll feel when you reach your goals, when your heart is strong, your metabolism is thriving, and you've achieved the weight loss you've been working toward. As I said, we start this program on September the 7th, and it's going to be totally focused on improving nutrition and exercise. This is your moment. Don't wait. Join us, and I will post as we get closer to the program. I'll post the start date with the total amount and everything. And one of the biggest things about this program is we are charging $200 for the entire program. And I will show you I'll show you more details about the program as we move forward. Right? So your heart and health are worth it. Let's take this journey together. Now, are there any questions at this point or any comments or anything anybody would like to know about nutrition, exercise, and how to improve heart health and metabolic health?
Hi, good night, everyone.
Hello, Liz. Good night and welcome.
Hi, Dr. Khan. Hi, listeners. Okay, I just want to give a little comment,
Sure.
positive comment.
Oh, we
I,
accept negative ones too, so don't worry.
oh, I have been on a diet some years ago, and it really worked for me. But I want people to also understand that when you go on a diet and you are very disciplined with the diet, if you try to go back to certain foods, your stomach will not accept it as it used to be. Meaning, let's say this is a little narrative. If you are accustomed, let's say eating, I wouldn't say roti, so let's say eating doubles, right? It's a narrative. Let's say you are accustomed eating doubles, and you know to yourself, a lot of doubles is not really good for your health. The minute you come away from using doubles. You decide, you see, me, I don't want to eat no more doubles because of a certain reason. Okay? You and your stomach, let's say next year, you went to your diet this year. Let's say next year around this time, your stomach will not be able to tolerate it. And that is just, I'm not itemizing one food here, but I'm just using doubles. It could be rice. It could be ice cream. It could be anything that you decide, okay, you see this, I don't want to use this anymore. When you stay away from it a couple months or so, when you say, well, let me try to use it again, it will not sit very well in digestion. And I am a living testimony to that. That's my little comment.
Thank you, Liz. And you are absolutely correct in that. Um, when you start to eliminate certain things from your diet, and okay, so I don't like the word dieting. First off, it's like synonymous with certain four-letter words, right? So let's not use dieting. This is a nutritional change. It doesn't follow any, it has multiple diets built into it, but it doesn't follow any strict traditional dieting formulas, right? It takes the best out of most of them and puts them in a way that is easily implementable. So you'll get things like, how to include more fruits and vegetables into your daily meal in a very simple way, right? You'll get what are the best oils that can be used for your nutrition. You'll get what are the best fats and proteins that you need to maintain that healthy nutrition, right? And what are the habits, like the times you eat? Why is it necessary to take breaks? Why is it necessary to do things like fasting? All of those will be included in the program as a method of showing you how all of these things, when incorporated together, all these little tools, improves your nutrition in a way that you never go back. And you're absolutely correct, Liz. Yes, when you shift and you start eating that healthier nutrition, you realize you just don't want to eat the unhealthy stuff. In fact, my experience is I can't even go into a KFC. The oil, the scent of the oil in it, or any one of those fast food restaurants, the scent of the oil in it makes me nauseous. So I just stop, I walk by it and I walk right back out and I leave. It just doesn't feel good to me. And that's just the smell, not even tasting it, right? So, and you'll see that change occurs. But one of the things is you say, when you stick strictly to this, here's the thing. At the beginning, yes, stick with it, keep doing the work as I'm showing you how to do it. But as you progress and you get better at this, the strictness needs can go away and embrace the imperfections. Yeah, if you feel that you want to try something different, try it. That is part of the routine, right? If we embrace the imperfections, we realize we don't struggle as much to maintain what is considered healthy for us. So, thank you for that, Liz. That was a very insightful way of putting it, and many of my clients have the same sentiments. They just don't feel like eating certain things anymore because they just don't have the urge, and it actually makes them feel a little off when they do, not sick, but just off, right? And we'll discuss many, many, many more things. Things I can't go into depth here because we don't have enough time, right? It takes me a few weeks to get it done correctly, right? So, any other questions, comments? I'm accepting anything.
Okay, Doc. Um, is there is there any truth in um, the phrase or the sentence that sounds like this? They what can I do about my size? It runs in the family. What can I do with my size? I am trying my best to keep this weight down. But if you look at my family structure, they are what we will want to see, for want of a better word, they are more on the fluffy side. So Doc, what can I do with my size? So is it that somebody who comes out from a fluffy family, is it that they would be able to still control their weight? Is it that when they reach this stage of menopause, they are going to put on more weight, although they will be very much trying to avoid this extra weight? What can you say to help out these people? Because there are lots of people who would be looking for some form of advice. I am doing every possible thing and I am still more on the weighty side.
So that's an excellent question, and I'm going to answer it in multiple parts. First, let's start with the end of the question, right? Your metabolism does slow down during menopause. right? Which can cause you to have weight gain, right? And we all want to avoid weight gain. Nobody wants that, right? So you might put on weight, especially when going through menopause and afterwards when that's slow in metabolism. But in addition to that, as you age, your metabolism slows down naturally, right? So first thing is, yes, you can put on weight, especially when going through menopause and after menopause, and there's ways to avoid that. Now, that's the first thing. Second part is, I have been always come from a big family. I big boned. Um, my family has always been fluffy, right? Now, here's the thing. If you can breathe, you can bring overweight and obesity into your family 3 generations down, right? So if you're obese now, your children can be obese and their children will be obese, right? Because it is part of what is called genetics. But it's even better than that, it's epigenetics. In 3 generations, you can bring diabetes, hypertension, obesity into your family, right? But the plus side about epigenetics is that you can also turn it in reverse and take it out of your family. So even if you come from a heavier set family, if you're working hard on yourself, the next generation after you is also going to be less likely to gain weight, and the generation after that also. So no, you don't have to maintain that genetics that's passed down to you doesn't have to stay with you. You can change that, right? It might be a little tougher, but it can be done. And I've seen it happen with many, many people. They go from being massively overweight, coming from a heavy set family, to not being overweight anymore and living their life wonderfully. And there's lots and lots of examples of this you see on the internet. So, yeah, so first thing, it's not a death sentence. It's not you have to stay like this for the rest of your life. In fact, if you stay like that, you increase your risk of things like diabetes and heart disease by extreme amounts. In fact, if you are obese, your risk of diabetes goes up to almost 80% within the first 5 years. And after 5 years, it can go up to 100% risk of developing diabetes. So staying in that stage, you're just putting yourself further at risk. But what a lot of people don't recognize is damage has also been done to your joints. For every extra 10 pounds of weight you have, you're putting 4 times that pressure on your joints. So that's if you weigh an extra 10 pounds, that's 40 pounds of pressure on your joints. That's why you're having joint pains. That's why you're having shoulder pains, back pains, because of all that extra weight. So to answer your question, Liz, yes, you can reverse it. You can reverse it all, right? And stop the impact on your body. And here's a plus side. When you start doing this, you start reverse aging, right? You actually see they've shown that the genetic makeup of your genes, the telomeres as a part of your genes, actually grow back, showing that you're actually aging backwards. In one of the blue zones in Costa Rica, they interviewed a 102-year-old man who surprised them because when they did his physiological studies to check if he how is what is his physiological age versus his anatomical age. Your anatomical age is what you were born with, how old you've been for a long time. When they checked his physiological age, he was 20 years younger. So he was 102 and was an 82-year-old man in a 102-year-old body, right? And they've shown within 2 months you can actually reverse your aging by sometimes 3 to up to 7 years, right? And just by shifting your diet. So not only do you improve your aging, you reverse aging, you get better skin, better joints, you lose the weight. The benefits are amazing. More energy. You realize you stop being so stressed out because when you exercise and you eat healthier, you increase endorphins, you increase dopamine, you start achieving more. And it's not just your pocket is feeling good, your body is feeling good, your brain is feeling good, but then your career starts feeling good, your family starts feeling good. They've shown that 30% of individuals who are overweight normally has an overweight partner is because they gain weight together. But if 60% of individuals are healthy at a healthy weight, their partners are 60% more likely to be at a healthier weight. So not only do you do a service to yourself, but you're helping your family also. So the benefits are far-reaching. So I hope that answered your question, Liz. And congrats on your journey. That is an excellent journey. So, does anybody else have any questions?
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you so much, Liz. Those were very insightful questions, and thank you for bringing them. Anybody
You're
else?
welcome.
So, to reiterate, we're starting the menopause weight loss formula on September the 7th, which is a Saturday, right? I will post more information about the course as we get closer to it. We also have this week, we're doing a hike. We're going to try to do a hike up to Maracas Waterfalls. Post information in the WhatsApp group so everybody will know what is going on. Um, so on Sunday at 6:30, we're probably going to do a hike up to the Maracas Waterfalls. If you haven't joined our WhatsApp group, here's a link to it here again in the chat, right? And of course, Saturday we're in clinic and we're still doing our pap smears. We have a pap smear special, which is you get a pap smear, breast examination, and a medical visit for $479, right? All included in the package is with the pap smear lab tests and everything involved. The only thing is not included is if you need any blood tests, those be a separate fee. So those are the two things we have happening in the community, and we're constantly working to improve. So if you have any suggestions, share them with us. Go on our YouTube channel, The Healthy Reset. That's the one right here. Like, share, listen to the videos. It's how we get to reach more and more women to give them as much advice as we can on how to navigate the menopause journey so that we can be as useful to everyone as we can, right? If there's no more questions, if there's no more comments, I'd love to say good night to everyone and thank you for coming and staying till the end. I look forward to having you in the course, and we will see you again next week for another episode of the Healthy Reset Live, where we go through another part of our 10-part series of what's happening with menopause. All right? So good evening, everyone. Have a pleasant evening and enjoy the rest of your week. And hopefully we'll see you on Sunday at the Maracas Waterfalls hike.